Hey everybody, welcome to Sew with Joe. Today we're picking up where we left off last time, adding a already patched chunk of denim onto my blanket project. So, let's get into it and get some good world news going on. We're already threaded. I'm going to start in this this corner. And stitch right into the corner. Here's a little detail that I've kind of picked up on how to do as I've gone through this. Get right into that corner. When we get to the good world news in a second, I just wanted to share this bit of sewing. Get into that corner as well as you can, and then fold it back down this way. So that it overlaps a little bit here. Get it right in the corner there. Get that together snug. And then get right into the other corner right beside it. Corner all into one tight little bundle there. So one of my favorite types of stories is, as far as positive world news goes, is when countries can take an invasive species, something that's causing absolutely nothing but issues, and turn it into something that is very beneficial for that society rather than being a pest. And what they've found in Scotland is they have a nuisance species, an invasive species that they are struggling with, and what it's called is a gorse bush. If you're looking it up, G-O-R-S-E, gorse bush. And what they've discovered is that they can make a protein from, or they can extract a protein from this bush, similar to like whey protein or that sort of thing, and they can feed people. To the extent that if they were to start harvesting and processing this gorse bush, they could, they're claiming they could feed the entire population of Scotland with the proteins from these invasive species, these invasive bushes. So that's really neat news. And then if you can find something that grows like a weed that feeds people, then you've got a winner. If a company can go around and just collect gorse bush from wherever it's invading, you know, 1-800-GOT-GORSE hotline. You know, it doesn't exist, don't call it, but something like that, you know, so that a company can find the natural resources, not have to farm any of it. And that's the one thing, if it's already growing and invasive, then don't have to farm any of it until it starts being overconsumed. So yeah, it's already out there, already growing naturally. All you have to do is go around and collect it. And let's face it, Scotland is pretty small relative to many other countries. So transportation, first thing I thought of, well, you're going to drive all the way around the country. Yeah, you'll drive all the way around the country to collect this stuff, because you can get across the country in a day. So yeah. So that's pretty cool. Other good news. Actually got lots today. Flower shows. There's one thing I've always thought was a little bit just a thing of excess. To me, excess is excessive and therefore unnecessary. So what they're doing now is, rather than focusing on, at these flower shows, rather than focusing on constructed arrangements, like people bringing in species from all over the world and planting them and making them work together and everything. Now, cheers. Well, there's one flower show that I forgot to write down the name of it, but it's a big one. And they are encouraging and grading wildlife friendly flower installations, gardens, more gardens than just flower displays and installations. Encouraging things like wilding, like local flora and fauna, local wildlife. They're actually encouraging the reintroduction of rodents like beavers into areas where they can naturally dam water and make waterlands, make more wilding areas. If you don't know what wilding is, it's the process of just letting land go back to nature, sometimes in a controlled way, sometimes not. And in this case, it's just letting areas grow in. And it's kind of the way that I'm doing things on my property. It's letting everything grow in and just like specifically having certain things, certain places. Coffee. Have fun. Sarah. My morning coffee and cookie. Cheers. So yeah, the thing with reintroducing rodent life is to increase the biodiversity. Like if you introduce beavers into your property and they make a dam and they make a bit of a backlog of water, I guess, keep your creek or whatever it is wetter, or flood a little bit of land and make it into a wetland. Completely changes the landscape, completely changes everything, the flora, the fauna, everything that's going on there. Sorry about the noise, just firing up the truck. Great old truck. That's one thing I always try to encourage people is if you own an old vehicle, keep it going. You know, talk about lowering your carbon footprint. And that's, you know, yeah, you might be using more fuel, you might be not quite as efficient, but it's an entire vehicle. You have to make that. You know. I've never understood the disposable vehicle mentality. Either on the end of car manufacturers making them or people buying them. And I do understand that, you know, people, it's getting expensive to bring a vehicle to a shop. So it's getting ridiculously expensive to own vehicles. And I think that's what the governments of the world want. Anyway, one thing we've spoken to a little bit on this channel before is a few countries that have gone to a shorter work week. The United Arab Emirates, I remember, went to a 4.5 day work week, and man, I can't remember what the country was that went to a 4-day. If you've been watching, you know. Remind me. But to expand on that, it turns out that a lot of countries are very, very strongly looking at a 4-day work week. And I just wanted to go through the reasons. If you're listening and you're in charge of people, you're a boss of any sort, and if not, just listen, because it's all good ideas. But if you are in charge of people and this can influence you in any way, listen to why a shorter work week is beneficial. And you might change your mind and go, oh no, work everybody 6.5 days a week, get stuff done. No. You work people that hard, they just stop working. They burn out. Cheers. So, reasons for a shorter work week. Number one, we were just talking about it with vehicles. Smaller carbon footprint. If you have to commute, you're only commuting 4 days a week instead of 5. That's immediately reducing pollution by 40 or 20%, sorry. If you don't go anywhere on that day, but forced pollution. And that's the one thing companies, I think, need to think of, is if they are requiring their people to come into work, they are forcing pollution. And yes, they can encourage people to come in with low-E vehicles or, walk or whatever, but it's not always going to happen. People are lazy. You want the path of least resistance. So, if you have one fewer day, you will lower your company's carbon footprint. That's one way to sell it to the environmental types that might be on any committees or anything that you're struggling with. And also, less packaging, like food packaging, because people won't have to bring along a lunch 1 day a week, or they won't have to go out for lunch 1 day a week. And restaurants, a lot of waste comes out of a restaurant, which is one thing we're going to be discussing in the next, either today or tomorrow, or in the next episode, I should say. It's restaurant waste and ways of reducing it. Another reason for a 4-day work week is a stronger economy. And you might think the exact opposite. People working less have a weaker economy, and that has not been the case in places where they have adopted shorter work weeks. The economy has improved or stayed the same. So I would say that improving the country's economy is a pretty darn good reason. Another reason to only work 4 days a week is if you only have a 4-day work week, you're more likely as an employee to be happier and much more productive when you are at work. So a lot of times people will still have the same work output over 4 days as they would over 5. So why pay those wages if you're not benefiting in any way, shape, or form? And if you're thinking, well, okay, this is all fine and good, but I need more. Like, I've got people working overtime. I've got, I can't have a shorter work week, or I'm gonna pay overtime, and I can't afford to do that. Well, the other part about the 4-day work week is it's job creation, because companies will want to be open that extra day, or have a Monday to Thursday shift and a Friday to Sunday shift, and that will employ more people. Your employment rate will drop, and people will be more satisfied at their jobs because they're not working as much. Because there's a company mentality, it seems, that, oh, if we get behind, just pile on the overtime. Guys love it. They love the big paychecks. That's true. It's just that you can't keep that up. I have friends from my past life, my past career, that they're so burnt out. They go and they work for a while in the very high demand, high areas, and this is what happened to me. You just burn out because you're working over 30 days straight, 12 to 16 hour days, and yeah, you're pulling in a lot of money, but you just can't sustain that. Like, yeah, some people can, but then you're not as productive. You end up, living at work, but then you're also living at work. You're socializing at work. You're doing personal hygiene stuff at work. I've seen so much of that happen. Where guys are working so much that they can't even keep their eyes open, and they've got a shower at work, and it takes time out of the day. And even guys, like, I knew guys who would intentionally sit in front of the boss and trim their nails because they hadn't had time to cut their fingernails, because they're working constantly. So, in the downtime, when you're sitting there waiting for another work group, then, you've got to take care of these things. And that's time, the downtime is time when people should be learning. When you're waiting on another work group, you should be training your work group, not surviving. Cheers. And we've kind of alluded to the next point here. It's a better mental and physical well-being, because you have time to do things. Time to spend with others. Time to work on yourself. It seems that these days a lot of people are really focusing on their physical health, which is awesome. You got the extra time to do it if you're working from home, or if you're unemployed. Take care of yourself better. Oh, pardon me. And spending more time with others goes into my next point of reduced child care costs. You have one fewer day where you need to pay someone to look after your child. And you get to spend more time with your children. Some parents are going, oh no! But I think if parents did spend more time with their children, there'd be fewer oh no moments and a lot more oh yes moments. Another similar point is stronger relationships. You know, if you have more time to spend with your friends outside of work, non-work friends, or even spending more time just with your partner, you know, it'll either make you or break you. And if you're in a relationship where you can't spend time with your partner, then probably best that it does break you so you can move on and find someone that you actually care about. I'm all about people staying together, don't get me wrong. Just sometimes it's best not to. Little scissors are getting to be troublesome. So awesome little portable scissors. I think I've been using them a little too much for, you know, everything. One thing I hadn't thought of with the 4-day work week is that it would help ease people's transition to retirement. It totally makes sense, because if you have more time not at work, you're going to be doing more things that you're interested in at home, and it's going to be easier for you to move on to your twilight years, when your life really starts. You can actually live your life for you and not for someone else. Another thing I hadn't thought of with the shorter work week, another benefit is a stronger democracy. Because more people have time to take up causes, to focus on the government, and focus on social change and things that they feel are important. And if you have the time to help take care of society, you're going to feel more a part of society. You're going to feel more personal satisfaction just for existing. With voter turnout diminishing and more and more, maybe this will help stimulate people to be more active in their role in the government. All right, pull some pins. And let's see what we got. Yeah, thanks very much for joining me. I do really appreciate the time we get to spend together. It's a good way to get into my day. I don't know what time you usually watch. Let me know. When are you usually watching me? Be good to hear back from some fans. And if you are a new subscriber, leave me a comment. Say hey. Let me know how you found me. I'd love to know how people are finding me. Right now I'm at the point of, you know, a solid 4 views per episode, and I appreciate every single one. Just wouldn't mind a few more. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I say not perfection, but I'm not going for perfection. Another big piece in. That's awesome. Awesome sauce. So, an already patched section. So already I've got four patches on this blanket before I've even made it. Oh, that's getting pretty big. I'll just add some pieces in, square it off a bit, and then we can start on some t-shirts. I do have some jeans I need to work on too, so we might be bouncing around a little bit. So with Joe is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. To blatantly rip off Forrest Gump. Anyways, cheers. Yeah, again, thanks for joining me. Till next time, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.